All I got is missed calls on my line, yeah. Never seen a pick up right on time, yeah. If I don't call back.
Welcome to it, episode 131 of the Missed Call podcast. This is your boy Cubwood here with Saucer Tori. And hey, it's been a hell of a week for me, so I hope it's the same for you. I hope you're living the dream. You mean lean fighting machine over there. Mr. A, good workouts in with the boys today.
Yes, always. Getting in lifts, getting in that grind. Listen, episode 131, special guest Shane Irwin. Later in the show, we're gonna have him on, and it was an awesome interview with him. But there's so much to get to. Today is Wednesday, and we're recording at night, literally in the fallout of the James Harden trade. So there's so much to get to today for episode 131. So Cub, let's just get to it right away. Grinding our gears. Let's go with that first.
Okay, so obviously we're both two gentlemen that go to the gym. Hey, I'm not going to take a picture and let you know that I'm there, but I go to the gym. Just a quick FYI.
Sure.
What irks me at the gym, what really grinds my gears, is when I'm at the gym and people walk past me and stink. Like, did you show up smelling?
Okay.
Did you show up stinking? And before you say anything, this person I'm referring to smells every damn time he's at the gym. I go to the gym at around 10:30, 11 in the morning.
Yeah.
So you're going to the gym stinking?
Sure. Okay.
Deodorant does exist.
A couple things. Yes, always make sure you put on deodorant before you go to the gym. That's just a given. You should just do it. It's also just a basic function of being a human being is, hey, don't smell. But I'll give them the benefit of the doubt.
You always got to pick the other side.
I have to. It's what I do. I have to give them the benefit of the doubt here because personally, I know I don't shower before I go to the gym. That chronologically doesn't make sense.
Well, I shower in the morning and at night, so it just happens that I shower before the gym.
Yeah, see, here, I mean, and maybe this is just me. I would hope that there are others out there just like me where I'm okay accumulating stink throughout the day and then getting rid of it come 6 o'clock at night. I have nobody to impress, and I work outside, and then I go to the gym, and those are really my only two places to be. So I don't know. I can definitely see if it's an all the time thing. That is.
I smell you through the mask, buddy.
But you should be able to get a couple of vouchers per month.
You should be able to walk past me and I not go, oh.
Strong, very strong.
Like I shouldn't look like the Warheads logo when you walk by.
Yes, that is good. I'm happy you went with smelly people at the gym and you didn't steer into that lane of it's the new year and there's a bunch of new people at the gym and I hate it. Because those people.
Do you want me to get started with that?
No, I don't. But yeah, smelly people at the gym. And there are some people.
Those people do piss me off. Those people do piss me off.
Well, they have to start somewhere. And I mean, some percentage of those new year, new me people are going to stick around and you have to deal with it for a month or two until the weeds are cut down, if you will. But yeah, stinky people at the gym. Okay. What's grinding my gears this week?
Let it out.
NBA superstars. NBA divas, if you will.
This is going to be a big NBA pod. Rare, very rare.
Very rare, but lots of big things happening in the NBA, and we're going to have to work on transitioning into basketball here very soon because football is winding to an end as we near.
That's it.
As we near divisional weekend. But okay, so we can start with Kyrie Irving,
the flat Earth guy.
The flat Earth guy, because. Kyrie Irving has missed 4 games this season for personal reasons. And I'm sure that we all remember the story that happened. It might have even been just last week, but recently where he didn't show up for a game and Steve Nash didn't even know.
Oh, Derrick Rose. He pulled a Derrick Rose.
Right. Derrick Rose's, he eventually explained, and he got he took his lumps for that one for sure. But Kyrie Irving's coming at this in a much different way, basically telling us that he is on a much higher level intellectually than all of us, and even referring to the common folk as peons. This is a case of elitism. This is a case of I mean,
got to be the Illuminati.
There's just so much to it. There's so much to it, and I'm not a big fan of the NBA for reasons like this, right? Like, there's guys who just think they mean more than they actually do, like a Kyrie Irving, where, you know, imagine this is a regular year and fans are allowed to be in the stands, and he's pulling this type of shit during the regular season, right? We've heard the complaints over load management. Like, I pay hard-earned money to go to a game, and if that player's healthy, I paid money to watch that player play. Now, this isn't a case of load management. This is a case of literally not giving a fuck. And so for Kyrie, I just wonder if he thinks about the way that he affects others.
I got a hot take for you, and I'm glad you brought this up. It reminded me, you know how, like, Jimmy Butler was out yesterday for, was it like the illness? What do they call it now? I can't think of the term.
Health and safety protocol?
I think, is it that? I have a hot take that means they have COVID and they don't want to mess up with, like, we have had 0 tests or result positive in the last blah, blah, blah. Or this is them just saying he's got COVID-like symptoms, but he doesn't have. It's just a weird, like, we have. That's
exactly what that is. That's like contact tracing and having COVID is out for health and safety protocols. That's what that is.
But I'm saying it's just, they could be hiding something. What if they're hiding positive results because they don't want to look bad? Because the NBA is like the league that doesn't get positive results. Like,
no, they're telling you, because that person's out with health and safety protocols, they either have it or they've been contact traced.
Wouldn't they just say that they have COVID?
I mean, each league has its own way of going about things. This is just an umbrella term so that they can say, they don't have to tell you, they don't have to give you whether or not this person has it or doesn't have it. It's just, well, they're either out with contact tracing or they're out because they have it. And that's really the extent of it. And if they're out for 2 weeks with health and safety protocol, then they would obviously have it.
Well, now I look dumb. Whatever, move on.
But yeah, so Kyrie Irving's the first one. And basically because he thinks he's better than everybody else. And again, if this was in a regular season and there were fans in the stands and these fans couldn't watch him play because what he's got going on is way more important than what any of us could ever have going on.
That's like not showing up to work and then they'll be like, what happened? Be like, I just didn't feel like coming.
That's exactly what it is. You have a fucking job, and you have a job to play a little kid's game.
A privilege. The privilege
right.
To play the game.
You have a privilege. And I'm looking up, this is what it is. So the next guy is James Harden, and I'll start with this quote, which happened last night after the Rockets got blown out by the Lakers. James Harden sat down for his interview post-game and said, I love this city. I've literally done everything I can. This situation is crazy. I don't think it can be fixed. Thanks. And then walked off the stage.
Looking like a thick mother effer.
Well, and that's part of it, right? Like, it is part of it. Like, James Harden came into this season overweight, not giving a fuck, whatever, because he knew he didn't want to play in Houston this year. And I've heard a bunch of different takes on this. And I think what it all comes down to is, like, the NBA, to a certain extent, has allowed this diva behavior to take place. They've given leverage to superstar players in the past, like LeBron James or Paul George. I think of Kawhi as well, to a certain extent, right? Like, these might not be the divas of the divas, but what we've seen play out this year certainly is the divas of the divas. Kyrie being one of them, James Harden being another. And this is part of the reason why I have a really hard time watching the NBA and rooting for players like those types of superstars in the NBA.
You know, Charles Barkley did something what Harden did back in the day. Barkley didn't want to be drafted by the Sixers, so he gained 15 pounds by going to Denny's every day.
Which again, is like similar, but also kind of not the same, right? Because somebody was going to draft Charles Barkley.
Yeah.
But when it comes to James Harden, man, like it just is like it's such a slap in the face.
Baby.
Well, it's such a slap in the face, right? Because even though fans can't be in the stands this year, there are still faithful fans of each fan base that tune in every night, that give their time. Time is the most valuable currency out there, but they give their time 2 to 3 hours a night to watch these teams play. They invest their emotions into these teams, and for whatever reason, you know, yes, those individuals are important. Kyrie, James Harden, they're both important people. But at the end of the day, it's bigger than them. And that's something that everybody should be willing to understand, is like in life, there are going to be things that are just simply bigger than you, and you need to understand those things. And it seems like for Kyrie and James Harden, who are now teammates as of tonight, they don't get it. And that's grinding my gears.
Ooh. Now, my best thing, let's move on to best thing. Best thing I saw, surprised it's not yours as well, our boy Ted fucking Larson made a goddamn appearance in the NFL playoffs for the Bucks. And let me tell you, I almost shed a tear.
It was an electrifying moment.
We've been pushing him to get signed. We've been pushing to see his thick body out there on the field, taking over other big boys, and we got it. And he was right there on the screen, and I was like,
well, and it was the end of the first day of the super wild card weekend. And you know, after watching that much football, you can kind of get lulled into a state of just couch, eyes glued on the TV. Right?
Yeah, after 2 games.
And when I saw Larson line up for the Tampa Bay Bucks, that whole like that whole indica moment that I had, I woke up out of my stupor. I said, it was literally the Jordan Belfort meme where he's like in the chair and he's pointing. That's what happened. I was like, I know him. My grandma was sitting on the couch next to me and she was sleeping, and I was like, wake up, Nana, wake up. My friend is on the TV.
I sent my dad the photo that I took, and my dad goes, who's that? And I'm like, I don't know why you even care.
Right. Well, it was just a really, really cool moment, right?
Dude. And well, how many times do we get to take a photo of someone we've interviewed? Like while on TV, or like get to see them? It was Justin Jackson, Ted Larson, all the softball players we've ever interviewed.
It's a short list.
But that's a good list, though.
Yeah,
some people.
And it was fun afterwards to do the interview, or the interacting with Ted, where we were like, you know, there was a picture of him and then Tom Brady behind him, and it was like the GOAT and Tom Brady. Yeah. And he responded to a comment that I put on one of his pictures, and he was like, hey, man, how do I get my wife to show me the same amount of appreciation as you guys do?
I got to tell you, people need to follow Ted Larson on all socials. Even if you don't know who he is, he just makes fun of his wife the whole time, and I think it's hilarious.
Yeah, he is.
It's not like he's rude. It's just funny.
He's the epitome of dad social media.
Yes. Yeah. He's like, my wife wanted me to take out the trash, so I didn't.
But yeah, definitely huge shout out to Ted. Huge congratulations to Ted for making an appearance in, I believe this would be his 13th NFL season, and blocking for the greatest quarterback of all time. So huge day for him. Huge day for us too, because we got to really be invested in Tampa Bay that game. All right, continuing on.
Hey, Ted.
Continuing on. We have to talk about the weekend of football, right? That's got to be the best thing either one of us have seen, because 2 triple headers for the NFL, followed by the championship game in college football on Monday night. It really was a lineup of it was a wet dream of football. And we can talk about, obviously we talked about the Tampa Bay game and getting to see Ted. We can talk about the Bears getting blown out, and more importantly, the Nickelodeon broadcast. We'll come back to that. I think we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about the Browns taking out the Steelers as well.
As a Browns friendly the biggest Browns friendly podcast.
Since Baker was drafted, we have been a Browns friendly podcast.
The words can't describe how proud this podcast is for the Cleveland Browns to show how much of a fraudulent team the Pittsburgh Steelers are. Hey, yeah. Juju. Corvette.
Yeah.
I hate that team.
It was so much fun to watch them get beat.
Dude, it was 28-0 first quarter.
One of my favorite things that I saw during that game was like it was a meme on Twitter, and it said when Big Ben throws a pass, and the picture underneath was like, for me.
Yeah.
Is for me, and that was what the Browns defense was doing. It was
picks. Four picks,
but also 68 passing attempts. I believe 47 were complete for 501 yards. If you take away the interceptions, Pittsburgh probably wins that game. Like, the Browns didn't come out and play so well on offense that they were unbeatable. They did throw up 40-plus points, but they weren't so good on offense that they were unbeatable. It so happened that the Steelers were just awful in the first quarter.
I'm pretty sure that's Ben's worst game since that time he threw 4 picks against the Jags.
4 picks. Seems to be a commonality.
How many picks are you going to have? Likely 4.
4.
Verbal meme.
What else, man? Yeah, Taki with the game sealer as well. That was important too. I got to scream Taki at 10 o'clock at night.
One of the best chips of all time.
Yes. Okay. I'm trying to go through the list in my head. The Bills didn't look that great against Indianapolis, which is concerning, but I also think it showed us how good Indianapolis's defense can be, even against really great offenses.
You also shout out to Phillip Rivers having an incredible career. Most likely his last game. We'll ever see him.
Don't be so sure. The Chicago Bears might have other plans for him.
Hey, you want to have another kid here in Chicago?
I'm trying to make sure that I cover all the games, so excuse me for whipping out my phone.
Baltimore
well, no, if we're going chronologically, the Rams over the Seahawks is something that I predicted, I called, and I can't believe that we let the Seahawks get away with what we let them get away with for so long. How did they dupe us like that?
It's because it's fun to watch Russell Wilson and DK Metcalf.
I think that might be what it is.
They hypnotize you because they're such a great duo.
Yeah, and everybody. I mean, it's easy to root for DK. He's a fun guy to root for. But some of the different characteristics came out during that game that were a little bit uglier than what you'd like to see out of your number one wide receiver. Emotions of frustration.
Jalen Ramsey.
And then moving down the list, obviously we talked about Tampa Bay and Washington. Taylor Heineke having a phenomenal game, and we'll talk about him later in the show. Moving into Sunday, Ravens, Titans. How the fuck did the Ravens hold Derrick Henry to 40 yards rushing?
People got mad at me when I said Derrick Henry is very inconsistent for being considered one of the best running backs in the league.
Well, I mean, he's a 2,000-yard rusher, one of 8 to do it. So it's reasonable to see. I can see how people could be upset with that take, but explain your take of inconsistency.
I mean, obviously last year he carried them in the playoffs, but I feel like in a lot of games that I've watched him, I feel like every game I've ever watched him in, he's never had a big game. So it's like, maybe it's because I don't pay attention too much, but obviously like anytime I tune in to watch the Titans, he's not doing the things everyone's talking about. Usually I see him when he's rushing for 50 yards.
Okay, but like, you know that there are other games that happen where he runs for 200 plus, right?
That's what I'm aware, yes. I've seen him against the Jaguars where he ran that 99-yarder. I saw that. But I'm saying, like, big games. I don't have the stats. I didn't pull up the stats when I said it. I'm just like, hey, I think he's kind of overrated, basically.
Because of the games that you've seen him play.
Maybe I'll just shut up.
I'm just trying to follow your take.
Yeah, I'm just going off the eye test.
Got it. But you haven't watched the other games where he runs for 200 plus yards.
I've watched a couple.
Okay. Again, I'm just trying to keep up with the Joneses here. We talked about Browns, Steelers, Bears, Saints, where the Bears played like fucking pussies for 4 quarters of football.
I'm not talking about it.
The one thing I do want to bring up is the Nickelodeon broadcast, which was in a way brilliant and in a way mind-numbing. But maybe that's what made it brilliant. I'm curious because if you didn't tune in, I guess let's maybe fill in just a little bit. Like, this broadcast was set up for small children, like 10 years, 12 years, somewhere in there. They were trying to target an audience. And in the first 10 minutes of the game, they introduced you to Khalil Mack and Kyle Fuller. And this is kind of a microcosm of the whole broadcast. They introduce you to these 2 players, maybe 2 best players on the Chicago defense. And they say, this is Khalil Mack, and his job is to sack the quarterback. And this is his friend, Kyle Fuller, and his job is to intercept passes.
I mean, essentially, that's what it is.
That's the thing. At the
and
end
then
of
they
the
had
day,
Sheldon.
really,
Sheldon.
At the end of the day, really, that's what they do. But there's so much more to it, but it's perfectly broken down.
I mean, with Chuck Pagano, I don't think Khalil Mack is much of a quarterback blitzer. He's more of a drop back into coverage kind of guy.
Well, yeah, you could argue that. I mean, and there was so much more to it. They claimed that Drew Brees and Taysom Hill are friends on and off the field, just like Patrick and SpongeBob are. You could talk about
how's that a bad take?
You could talk about the SpongeBob that showed up in the middle of the field goal posts during field goals.
That's why Lutz missed. That's why Lutz
scared the absolute fuck out of me.
Hey, I'm SpongeBob, you're Squidward. Just like never mind, I drew a blank.
Okay. Well, so then the only other thought that I had on this is because everything was so dulled down, right? They had to talk about Anthony Miller punching Chauncey Gardner-Johnson in the face. They had to do that. I mean, it's part of the broadcast. So
the swearing.
Yeah, Cordell Patterson saying, what the fuck on the broadcast. They had to deal with that. So I'm curious, Cub, what would be some fun moments in sports history to Nickelodeon-fy?
Number 1, OJ and the Bronco.
Easy, right?
Easy.
And, I was thinking,
and the Ford Bronco came out in 1964.
Well, sometimes people get in trouble with the law, and they're not okay with that. Sometimes, like when your parents ground you.
Sometimes when you murder your ex-wife and a random guy.
No, you can't prove that.
If the glove didn't fit, you acquitted.
Right, you have to acquit. I'm thinking Nancy Kerrigan. The Nancy Kerrigan situation would be a lot of fun. She didn't want her other friend to win, so she banged her knees up with a lead pipe.
Nancy Kerrigan got hit. Crap.
Tanya
Harding. Tanya Harding paid someone to do it. Also, I have one for you. Randy Johnson killing that bird.
Yeah. That'd be good. Or if Ray Lewis was still playing, trying to explain his past, right? And the situation where he was aiding and abetting in a murder.
Michael Vick,
Kareem Hunt,
Ray Rice,
right? Any of those situations. And again, I'm not bringing light to the fact that all of these things happened, rather just saying it would be funny to watch Nickelodeon try and work their way through it.
The butt fumble.
The butt fumble is another great one. I brought up the Kevin Ware injury from years ago when Louisville was in March Madness.
Do you know what my favorite meme is from that Kevin Ware injury? Where his bone's sticking out and it's Patrick's head and he's like.
That's a good one. I like the one where they have Simba trying to wake him up as if he is Mufasa, dead on the floor.
Oh man!
But and again, just to make the point, we're not bringing light to these situations. Rather, it's just funny if
Cubs
Nickelodeon would have to talk about it.
Moises Alou and
the Steve Bartman situation.
Steve Bartman.
That would be the whole steroid era would be fun to talk about too. Okay.
The 85 Mets. 85 Mets.
Oh, just talking about Lenny Dykstra in general would be fucking awesome.
I'm just trying to go off. I got so many you can name.
Aroldis Chapman, etc. Anyway.
Aaron Hernandez?
Aaron Hernandez and scene. and scene. We got to find a way to wrap this up. We got to find a way to wrap this up. And so we'll do it this way. I got to give one more shout out to Nate Burleson, who did this broadcast. I mean, fucking thoughts and prayers, dude. Great job. They really did a really good job. And this opens up a lot of different avenues for how you can do future broadcasts, not only in the NFL, but in baseball, in hockey, etc., to get younger fans interested in these sports. So hats off to Nickelodeon. I thought it was actually a really good job, but it's also fun to poke fun at it.
I had to listen to Tony and Nance.
Yeah, and Nance was doing a fuck job the whole time. But new segment alert. We're going to try this because I've noticed that a lot of my segments end up being about Chicago sports. And I want to make a separate segment for it. So this is Chicago sports dick kick of the week. And a twofer if we have time. It's a twofer if we have time. Okay, got it. But the Bears press conference this morning, Cub, did you have an opportunity to listen to any of it or see any of the coverage?
Basically, Georgie boy said that everyone's doing a great job. Oh, did you watch the same thing I saw?
I watched the entire hour and a half bang up job that McCaskey and Ted Phillips and Ryan Pace and Matt Nagy. I watched it all. I watched all the fucking bullshit. If you didn't hear, Matt Nagy, Ryan Pace are sticking around for the 2021 season because Ted Phillips and George McCaskey, who are not football people, they have said that those two do a great job collaborating and that this is a people business and that they have a lot of really great people in their organization like Ryan and Matt Nagy. I'll say this. I've never heard it called the National People League. Have you? It's the National Football League, correct?
Whoever said that, shut the hell up.
So that there was that, and there was the endless stream of buzzwords like collaborating and others. I mean,
are they college students trying to get a job? They're good at networking.
I mean, the thing is, there is a lot of things to this. And one of the other things, we've heard the rumors that there may have been a possible secret contract extension for Ryan Pace to line his contract up with Matt Nagy's. And they were asked today, not once, but twice, what the lengths of the contracts are for both Nagy and Pace.
Lifetime.
And twice, they refused to answer. They opted not to answer, which is concerning if you're a Bears fan. Remember this and the lack of transparency that this front office has with you.
I'm done with this organization.
Yeah, it's not great. I heard, this is the last thing I'll say. I heard a really great take today on 670 The Score. Spiegel and Parkins were doing a segment on this. And they talked about, in baseball with the White Sox and with the Cubs, there's a lot of transparency with those organizations, right? They let you know what's going to happen. At least that's how it was with Theo, and that's how it's been with Rick Hahn for the White Sox. There's been that transparency, but also they know that things for baseball are a little bit different than football because it's more about the market you're in, right? Mm-hmm. They have to capitalize on the market they're in. They have to make sure that the people in this city are interested in their teams. Otherwise, they're just like the Orioles or the Rays or whatever, because it's a regional sport. You have to market to your market. Right. And the TV deals in your city will take care of the finances, right? As long as people are tuning in. With football, it's a national broadcast. They're worried about the national TV deals. So they don't much care about fan criticism. They don't much care about that because at the end of the day, they're still going to get their games broadcast and they're still going to get their national TV money. And that was a great take that they had on the Spiegel and Parkins show on 670 that I found impertinent to share with our fans as well, is that unless there's national embarrassment, right? Like when you think about the Trestman era, there were back-to-back 50 burgers and a bye week in between. That was enough for them to fire Trestman. Next season in 2021, root for national embarrassment. That's what I got.
All right, we'll move on. Random thought. Does Mac Jones get a bid? Yeah, I got a ring light. What of it?
Yeah, congratulations.
Does Mac Jones get a bid?
Right. For the Thick Athlete Society, I honestly, in terms of quarterbacks, right, he might have it. He might have it.
As I've grown up being taught by our good friend Phil Marcio that if a quarterback doesn't look athletic and doesn't look like he's ever played a sport a day in his life, he's probably a really good damn quarterback.
Look at Tom Brady.
Look at Peyton Manning. You ever seen him with a shirt off?
You ever seen him with his helmet off?
It looks like welcome to the society, Mac Jones.
Yeah.
When we have our new merch drop, we'll send you a hoodie or whatever it is that we're making.
Yeah. Be on the lookout for that. Is in March, we will have a merch drop for you guys. That'll be just absolutely Cub, I think you would call it chef's kiss, correct? Yes? Is that what you would call it?
You're insulting me, and I don't appreciate it.
No, I was actually trying to set you up for one of your sayings, but take it as an insult if you will.
I thought you were saying it to be facetious.
No, I was actually trying to set you up. But with that being said, Thoughts and Prayers is up next.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Thoughts and Prayers is up next, and my thoughts and prayers this week. Oh shit! I have to do it in the new mic now. Oh,
we got that podcast money now.
We got that podcast money now. Thank you to everybody who bought a hoodie, because I have an extra ring light and a microphone now because of you. Okay, the candle is lit. Thoughts and prayers this week go out to the fans of the Brooklyn Nets. And why is this, Cub? Because if you remember back maybe 15 minutes ago at this point, Jesus Christ, my gear grinder of the week is NBA Divas.
Diva.
It seems as though Brooklyn has become the hub, the national hub for NBA Divas, as now they have not only Kevin Durant, not only Kyrie Irving, they also have now James Harden, which has to make them the epicenter for NBA Divas, no?
So they got a snake, they got a chubby boy, and they got what would Kyrie Irving be?
A dumbass. That's what I'd call him. The final trade ended up being, and stick with me here. The final trade ended up being the Rockets will receive Victor Oladipo, Dante Exum, Rhodonis Krukas, who I would assume is a stash away player overseas. They'll also get 3 unprotected Brooklyn first rounders in 22, 24, and 26. They'll get Milwaukee's first round pick in 2022 from the Cavs. And then they'll also get 4 first round swap picks from Brooklyn in 21, 23, 25, and 27. The Nets get James Harden. The Pacers get Karis LeVert and a second rounder, and the Cavaliers will get Jarrett Allen, and Taurean Prince.
I mean, I think Houston getting Oladipo is pretty big. Him and Wall.
I think the Rockets have set themselves up obviously for success in the future. That's usually 8 first round draft picks.
Usually with these blockbuster deals, the team that gets the draft picks usually turns out to have the better outcome. Like look at the Celtics when they gave up Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett, and then Ray Allen.
They got a lot. And who was the team that got fucked in that deal?
The Nets.
Right. They've had control of 1 of their first round picks since 2014, I should say. They won't have control of another one until 2028. The only pick that they had control of, the only first round pick that they had control of, was used to draft Jarrett Allen, and he just got traded to the Cavaliers. So if you're a Nets fan, right now it seems like a lot of fun. And you're probably in the next 2 years going to win an NBA championship because all 3 of your big superstars are on contract through 2023. But after they're gone, you are fucked hard, buddy. Fucked real hard.
You already have a snake on your team. How can you trust them?
All right. They literally have a zoo. They have a snake, a small bear, and James Harden.
Hey.
And then, I don't know, a sea monkey and Kyrie Irving. It's all part of the sea monkey exhibit that they're having right now. The candle will stay lit for Houston fans here. As we continue through the fact that not only has all of this, no, I'm talking about Brooklyn Nets fans. The Houston thing comes up here in just a second. But yes, thoughts and prayers to the fans of the Brooklyn Nets. Let's move on. Struggle bus, fake taxi. Here we go.
Struggle bus is coming in. It's going to be the listener's ears.
Okay.
Your boy landed an internship today, and he's going to have his own separate podcast. So if you guys enjoy listening to all of me, hey, your ears are going to be full of my voice for the next 3.5 months. I have a podcast internship with the Believe Podcast Network. I will be working on a women athletes podcast. I have not thought of a name yet. Still working on that. If you have one for me, let me know, because I'm terrible at names. This call was just lucky.
And even that one's questionable.
Hey,
from both of us.
We almost called this podcast Yellow.
Yellow. That was a finalist. Yellow was a finalist.
So if you like the soothing sounds of Cubwood, podcast coming soon.
Soothing?
Enjoyable sounds.
Well, okay. All right. Struggle bus, the listener's ears. Right? Did I get it right?
Flex, I think, but who cares? It's my segment.
You have to find light in the darkness, and on the struggle bus, sometimes you see headlights. So maybe you are a headlight.
Your ears are the deer.
Okay, moving on. Struggle bus, the city of Houston. Now, hear me out, because obviously I know that at the end of the day, Houston is probably going to be the winners of the James Harden deal because they got a fuck of picks back for him. But losing your city's biggest superstar is never easy. And so you think about that, and then you couple that with the fact that we've heard lots of rumors this week on the fact that Deshaun Watson could be shipped out of Houston any day now.
But I did see that the Houston Texans are interviewing Eric Bieniemy from Kansas City.
Finally.
Yeah. He's a good coach.
Well, here's the thing, and Cub, I know you know, but for the listeners who don't, like, essentially Deshaun Watson is the franchise for Houston, and they promised him that he would be in conversations for the general manager hiring and also the head coach hiring. He made his recommendations, and Houston didn't even contact his recommended selections for those two positions. And so he's very upset with the Texans, and rightfully so. And well, when that news broke, teams from across the country started coming in and saying, oh, well, we might be interested. We might be interested too. It seems the strongest tie between two teams at this point is between Miami and Houston, because allegedly Miami would be willing to trade one of their 2 first-round picks this year and a first-round pick next year, along with Tua Tagovailoa, who I guess they're not sold on. They'd be willing to trade all 3 of those things in exchange for one thing, and that is Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, I read that they're very iffy on Tagovailoa's abilities, which I've been saying since the draft. I'm like, hey, he's an Alabama quarterback. How many good Alabama quarterbacks have come out of, or have produced well in the NFL? Sorry.
Right. It's like Notre Dame and producing anything except linemen, right? If you draft something out of Notre Dame, it's probably not going to pan out.
Brady Quinn wasn't good. Get out of here.
And please don't come at me with Chase Claypool, because let's see how that works when Juju leaves in the offseason.
Miles Boykin?
I'll give Miles Boykin a pass because he's a local boy. But where was I? with the Watson thing, I just think it's really interesting. I think that there are 20 teams in the NFL right now that could legitimately use his services. Obviously, the Bears are one of them, but they don't really have much to give. They could give the trade package that I think would be justifiable in obtaining Deshaun Watson on both ends would be 2 or 3 first-round picks this year, next year, and 23 as well, along with probably somebody like Khalil Mack, Eddie Jackson, who you would send there to pair up with J.J. Watt.
Would you be mad if Khalil Mack was sent over to Houston?
No, because you have a franchise quarterback who's 25. I love Khalil Mack. I think he's amazing. He's a phenomenal player. But it's much easier to find an edge rusher than it is to find a legitimate franchise quarterback. So I'd be okay with that. And
the offense would be fun to watch.
True. Just to add on to all of this, Houston is probably also going to lose one of its golden children in George Springer via free agency very, very soon as the MLB free agency window begins to heat up a little bit more after the White Sox signed Liam Hendricks, which was awesome. Just a quick White Sox shout out to prove that I'm not a biased Cub fan. Okay, that was Struggle Bus. Let's move on to Fake Taxi. I want to go first here because this, again, circles back to the Nickelodeon broadcast where they had a fan vote going during the game for the MVP, not MVP, but the NVP, the Nickelodeon Valuable Player of the Game, which was a fan vote. And it was hijacked, of course, by knowledgeable NFL fans who made Mitch Trubisky the MVP of the first ever Nickelodeon broadcast.
That's my QB1, Minch.
Now, listen, Mitch Trubisky, who's that? Well, Lex Lumpkin, who is the sideline reporter for Nickelodeon,
sounds like an evil villain.
Lex Lumpkin, or Blex Blumpkin, depending on who you ask, was the adolescent, the child, the young adult in charge of presenting Minch Trubisky with the trophy, which is the Nickelodeon blimp on top of a base of what looks like a pseudo Lombardi trophy, and it's got a little bit of green slime on there as well. And he was in charge of giving it to Mitch and completely botched the name and calling him Minch Trubisky. So Fake Taxi of the week goes to Mr. Trubisky.
Mine is actually someone who would actually deserve that award. His name's Taylor Heineke. That boy, let me tell you something. That boy can fucking ball. That boy can ball the fuck out. If anyone was going to beat the Bucks, Taylor Heineke was going to be the man. That guy is my new favorite player. And if someone signs him, just know they're my second favorite team now.
Well, were you a Battlehawks fan during the XFL days?
Who likes the XFL?
That's who he played for.
I know. No, I didn't.
Okay. Well, I personally was a staunch believer in the Dallas Renegades, so I didn't much know of Taylor Heineke.
Renegade.
Yes. But yeah, no, Taylor Heineke balled out, and I'm on Bears Twitter. I am a part of Bears Twitter. So I definitely saw all of the fans who were like, hey, Ryan Pace, this Heineke guy, possibly you.
But what worries me is, was this just one of the random guys that steps up in the NFL playoffs and then just one-hit wonder guys?
He is Nick Foles.
But his just style of play was just so fun to watch.
His style of play doesn't hold up over 16 games.
No, because he's got the Tebow mindset. Do anything for a dub.
What happened in one game? Just in one game of that play style, what happened? He was in the locker room for 20 minutes trying to get his shit in a scoop. His style of play does not hold up over 16 games or 17 next year.
Yeah, but let me tell you, that was exciting. That's what the best thing about playoffs are in sports. There's always some random dude who he didn't know about, just goes, "Hi, I play sports." And then
Tyler Hero.
Baseball. I'm trying to think.
David Freese. I also think, I mean, his story has still yet to be completely written, but Randy Arozarena.
Yeah, I couldn't think of the names.
Some motherfucker named Randy. That's how you shall address him.
A bad man.
Some motherfucker named Randy. Okay.
Right, so
Tinder bios.
Let's give me a girl, so let's give me a lady.
Tinder bios, and then we shall head to the interview with Shane Irwin of Boise State. All right. The way we do it, how we always do it, we've got 3 candidates, three possible ladies. Suitors for our Cub Wood here on the Missed Call podcast. I shall read their Tinder bios for him. He will assess the situation, and he will take home one of these lucky women. All right. First up, we've got Reese, who is a process improvement specialist. Here is her bio. Listen, am I the most attractive girl out there? Of course not. But do I have a good personality? No. But I do wake up every day and try to be the best person I can be.
I need a church girl. That's what she reminds me of.
She's 5'10", which she says is giraffe size.
Honey, you perfect.
Okay, so we'll hold on to Reese for just a moment.
Can I say one thing about the name? Very unique. I kind of respect it.
R-E-S-E for Reese. I hope it's not Risse or something.
We'll go Reese.
Exotic. But next up, we've got Kayla, who is a dietary worker at Mount Sinai Hospital. Okay. Did you get the joke? Okay. Okay, she says that she is single and looking for love. Even though her bio says she's 26, she says, I'm 25 years old, looking for a romantic type of guy. I want to get married and have 3 kids. I also want to own a place that is fully furnished, so I won't buy any furniture. All I want is groceries, but she spelled it Gocries, G-O-C-R-I-E-S. All I want is groceries and pots and pans. I love pottery and romance. My favorite flowers are red roses. I love chocolates and romantic dates. I looking for a serious relationship, not a one-night stand. I just want a night of romance, someone to sweep me off my feet. Looking someone to cook for me every once in a while. Looking for someone to cook for me every once in a while. I think Kayla's from a different country, and I will step back and let you assess the
She's
situation.
just looking to share some happiness with somebody. The things she wrote in her bio, I feel like are kind of things you would just tell someone maybe on a first or second date. Like, hey, I want 3 kids. Hey, lady, let's find out if we even can connect.
I should note as well that amongst all of that, there were 2 periods.
I mean, who needs a period in a bio?
Those were the only grammatical marks that I had were 2 periods. I count 1, 2.
3 kids right off the bat. Lady, you're on Tinder. Let's take it down a notch. You're at like a 7. Let's bring it down to a 1.
All right. Hang on to Kayla for just a minute, because lastly we have Miss Caroline.
I do like that name.
Yeah, Caroline. It was great. I understand it was great. Caroline's 25. She's looking to take in a handsome unmarried man to keep her warm at night. He must be fair-haired, well-proportioned, with a thick beard, fresh breath, and considerable lustiness. Fun fact, I went to a gay club with Jon Snow.
Who gives a shit?
Well, Kit Harington's a very attractive human and a very popular one as well. At least he was.
That's such a stupid flex. I want someone with great breath. Oh, by the way, I went to a gay club with Jon Snow.
Okay, so we have Caroline, we have Kayla, and we have Reese. I should note too, Reese is verified on Tinder, which I'm not sure how you do.
She means it's real. It means she's a real person.
Got it. Now, I might even just take my headset off and let you do the thinking. This is your segment. I want to hear who is the lucky woman.
I think the last two are kind of nuts. I don't know who's more insane. Is it the fresh breath or is it the I want 3 kids right off the bat?
At the same time, too, calling people insane, you calling people insane, is a little bit the pot calling the kettle black.
You're calling me insane?
A little crazy.
I'm just a little different.
But a little crazy is
God
good.
was like, a little bit of spice.
A little crazy can be good.
That's a different kind of crazy. So it's a different breed. I'm in my own lane and they're over there on the side of the road. I think the safe route for me is clearly the 5'10" Reese.
Okay.
Because
this was a quick conclusion.
Yes. Because Reese, she knows herself. She knows her worth. Apparently she does.
Okay.
Maybe she's insecure and doesn't realize that she's a very beautiful person. She's also 5'10", so
she's 23 miles away from your current location, Cub. So I'm going to say you might want to get a car too. But maybe with all this podcast money we have coming in, you can get a car. Who knows?
I'll get a fucking bike.
We'll get a fucking hoopty, baby. You'll start getting that fucking.
We'll get
start getting around town.
The double bike. What's it called? Can't think of the name.
A tandem bike.
Tandem bike.
Yes.
You and I in the tandem podcast bike.
Yes, and you can sit in front, and I will definitely be pedaling the whole time.
No, you'll be in the front steering.
We're gonna go rear wheel drive instead of front wheel.
Hey, living on the edge.
Whatever works for you, man. All right, let's move into the interview with Shane Irwin of Boise State. Great interview, lots to talk about with him. We had so much fun with him coming on. Before we get there, let's just say follow us on all socials at Call Podcast. On Twitter, I am Life of Sartori. On Instagram, I am Sauce Sartori, as you might imagine.
On Twitter, it's Cubwood. Just search it up. You'll see it. You'll find it. It's not at Cubwood, but you'll find it. Instagram at 3COLBY. That's it. Here comes Shane Irwin. Enjoy. And now welcoming on special guest Shane Irwin from Boise State. Shane, it's been a long time coming. We're so glad we get you on.
Yes, sir. I'm stoked to be here. Thanks for having me, guys. I'm really looking forward to this. It's my first podcast.
Ooh.
Oh, we get to break. We get to take your podcast virginity. That's something that we like to do.
Let's pop the cherry. Let's get it.
We do have a nice collection of podcast virginity cards in this top drawer behind me. But we're very happy to have you on. All Mountain West second team this year in your first year at Boise State. That's awesome. We'll get to Boise in a second, but let's get the obligatory things out of the way first. The blue turf.
Yes. Let's
get it out of the way. Let's get it out of the way. We have to ask about it. Is it disorienting at all? I know you've played on green grass your entire life, but now all of a sudden it's blue.
Okay, so straight up, like throughout like all of high school, like I did not like it. Like I was not a fan. I did like a passing league at Chaminade once, and they had like a dark navy blue field, and I was like, oh, I hate this. And then like on my visit, I was like, oh, this is whatever. Like I can't wait to see it. But once you actually like step foot on it, you're like, this is pretty cool, you know? And it's cool that it's like the first school to ever really do it, and they kind of started the trend. I mean, we take a lot of pride in that field, and it's cool because like I'll be leaving the facility almost every day, and there's like people who are visiting Boise like go and just to like sneak a peek at the field, you know, like that's what Boise's known for. So it's pretty cool. I wasn't a huge fan kind of my whole life, but now I'm definitely a big blue field guy.
Isn't there something with geese in the field?
Okay, I've heard that too. Like that's what I grew up like hearing, that like ducks thought it was like a lake or something, and they just like dive into it and break their necks. But I don't think that's true because I've never seen it. Like there's been geese like on the field during practice and stuff, but like they're never hurting themselves or anything.
You got to get out there early. That's when they pick them all up.
Yeah, who knows? I mean, I just haven't seen it.
Well, who has the coolest turf outside of Boise? Obviously, I'm trying to think who has the red turf, but obviously
Eastern Washington. It's disgusting.
And then Coastal has the teal.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not a fan. Come on.
Well, it's kind of like a often imitated, never, or often is it often imitated, never duplicated?
Yes.
Is that the ism? That seems to be that kind of a situation that you have where it's Eastern Carolina and Coastal that are trying to steal your guys' swagger.
Yeah, it's not gonna happen. Everybody knows who the original is. Come on.
The real OG. Okay. The other one that I thought was kind of obligatory, Irwin being the last name. Do you have anything against Stingrays?
Stingrays? No, I don't.
No,
but I get that a lot. It's funny. Like one of my first, I think it was Colorado State. Like when I got those 2 sacks, my buddies like were sending like tweets and stuff at me after the game, like looking up my name and stuff. And there was one, and it got me. It was like Shane Irwin when he sees the QB shuffling, and it was like Steve Irwin going like this, like where are the Gators at or something. I thought it was hilarious. But yeah, I get that a lot. But yeah, I wish I knew the guy. Come on now.
There's got to be some sort of nickname that we can build off of that, right? Like, I don't know.
I mean,
The quarterback hunter. That's probably the easiest one to go with.
Quarterback
right?
hunter.
Yeah,
that's lame. Come on. I mean, I'm trying to think.
That was off the dome, Shane. Come on.
It's something I could not make up. Somebody else has gone on make up. I feel like that's a nickname thing.
okay.
Well, hold on. Didn't you give yourself your own nickname, Bonds?
No, I didn't make that up.
Oh,
Okay, I'll tell you about Bonds.
I
Have
heard
you ever
otherwise.
seen, Fairly Odd Parents?
Yes.
Yes.
You know Jorgen Bond Strangle?
Yes.
Okay, so I have a bunch of weird friends, and somehow that name came up, and it's literally like the name of our group chat right now. Jorgen Bonds. And then Bonds just stuck. My senior year, I got like before our rivalry game, I got like the Boz. So I had like a mohawk with the lines on the side, and then like people called me Bonds. It kind of stuck a little bit.
Do you know what's funny? Because I wrote down a question that says, there's something about you that gives me the Boz is my idol vibes.
Definitely in high school a little bit. That guy's a legend. Come on. I wanted his jersey really bad for a while. I still kind of do. But I think it's faded a little bit.
I want that hoodie that Baker Mayfield had of him. That like
I have not seen it.
It's like a white hoodie. It's like green in a circle. It just says the Boz.
I'm sure it's like, I mean, I was number 44 in high school too. So if that says anything.
The biggest Boz guy in the world.
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay, let's dive into a little bit more I guess serious, but it's football, so it's not too serious. You guys were in the Mountain West Championship game this year without your head coach who had just left the team, if I remember that.
He actually left just after.
Just after. Okay.
Yeah.
I was trying to put the chronological order together. It was difficult. But Mountain West Championship game, you guys lose to San Diego State, and then 4-goal playing in any bowl games. How difficult was that decision as a team, or did you guys have any say in that at all? Going to bowl games.
So we lost to San Jose.
I'm sorry, yeah, San Jose.
No,
you're right.
We lost to San Jose, and then I think just with this whole crazy season, like games getting canceled and stuff, the vibe on the team was kind of weird by the end of season, and a lot of people were kind of like pretty beat, you know, like it was a short season. It wasn't necessarily as long as a regular season, but just like with injuries and guys like getting out with COVID or tracing and missing a week or two, like this season was like the most physically and mentally stressed season I've ever played in, that's for sure. And especially after that loss to San Jose, I think there was just a vibe that like, I mean, we all haven't seen our family since like May. Like this is the first time I've been home since May. Like that's something else you have to take into account. And then if we played that bowl game, it was probably going to be something after Christmas. Usually you might be able to go home before and then come back. But with COVID, like it's not really an option. San Jose did it. And because of that, they were missing their OC, DC defensive player of the year in their bowl game. So I think the seniors got together and kind of just had a discussion with our head coach who left 2 days after, but I think just the vibe wasn't about a bowl game, and a lot of other teams were thinking the same thing this year.
Yeah, and it's got to be a really difficult decision to make as a team or even as a group of seniors. I can't imagine making that decision, but also I've never been in that position. Never will, because this is what I do for a living.
I've seen your stance, bro. You're nice.
Yeah?
Yeah, I saw the video versus Witt. Come on now.
Okay, do you think you'd be able to make it past me?
Me, if you were offense?
Yeah, well, hold on. I could play both sides of the ball.
Really?
Yeah. Well, you see, here's the thing. I train with Witt. I train with Witt.
How's your kick step?
I can't tell you that right here, right now. Like,
hey, his first step is the quickest thing.
All I saw was your stance and your get off, and I think you need some work.
No.
Okay. Okay.
Sauce, he doesn't know about that first step. Shane, it's so quick. It's a second.
To the naked eye, you can't see my first step.
I mean, maybe like something about the video was off or something, but I think I could give you some good work.
I'm always down for improving my athletic ability. I'm currently working on my explosive get off. The first step can be quick, but if you're not explosive, that first step is all for naught.
Yeah, that's true.
So
I think your head's in the right place. I think you're going up.
I mean, guys, Shane's girlfriend does live in Chicago, where we're from. We could always throw the gauntlet down once again, Sauce. But this time you're on what?
If Shane, if you come to Chicago,
yeah,
we're gonna go 1v1 North Avenue Beach.
I'll hit you guys up the second I find out when my flight is.
I don't care. I don't care if it's in 2 weeks from now. We're going to North Ave.
Perfect.
Wonderful.
Yeah, how's the weather out there right now?
Terrible.
It's currently 36.
Jeez.
36 and snowing.
Yeah.
Yeah, not great, but this is what we were bred for. I consider myself a thick athlete, and so this is what I train for, to function well in the winter. Jesus, we've gotten really off track, and now I can't remember where we were. Oh, I wanted to ask again about Coach Harsin leaving. You said it was 2 days after the championship game that he took off, or whenever it was that he took off for Auburn to replace Gus Malzahn. Did you guys have any idea about that?
So what's crazy is we were in a meeting like right after we got back from the San Jose game and kind of figured out that we weren't playing a bowl game. We were just doing regular film and stuff. And then our D-line coach was kind of just talking about like how Harsin turned down the Arizona job and like how because he grew up in Boise. He played for Boise. Like he bleeds Boise. And everybody kind of thought he was planning on staying. Like I just heard his family just built a new house in Boise and stuff. But I guess something like Auburn, you can't really turn it down. I mean, not only the money and stuff, but just that's something where like you can go there and win natties, So I completely understand it. But yeah, we all found out on Twitter before he told us. So it was kind of it was a lame situation, but I mean, it happens. You kind of forget college football is a business sometimes.
Well, I think about like a situation last year at Baylor with Matt Rule and, him telling his guys, I'm here, I'm staying here. And then the NFL comes calling and he's coaching in Carolina a couple weeks later. Like, at the end of the day, you guys are student athletes, and that kind of crazy change can be really detrimental to growth for an entire team and for individuals as well. And so I too forget sometimes like college football is a business, and changes like that happen very quickly all the time.
I mean, you don't realize how often it happens. Like players get like scrutinized and stuff for transferring, but like coaches are leaving all the time, whether they're taking more money or like jumping up to a DC or head coach, like they're doing it every year. And like there's coaches that are like at a different program every year and people don't really quite realize it.
And it's gotta suck for you, because you came in to play for him and now he's gone. Like those first year guys and the guys that were recruited by him, that sucks.
Yeah, it totally sucks. I mean, I feel for that recruiting class too, who like signing day was like December 17th, whatever. And then they sign and Coach Harson's gone, like that's got to be kind of scary, you know? But I mean, right now we're just kind of hoping that we can keep our defensive coaches, because the DC is my guy. The D-line coach is my guy. He's the co-DC too. So we're just praying that whoever comes in will keep them and kind of put us in a better place. But yeah, it's stressful. I mean, I'd never been through it till now, and it's definitely stressful every day. I'm checking my phone to see how the process is, but we still really don't know much.
And it's got to suck even more finding out on Twitter. That's
Yeah.
like a slap in the face more than if he told you in person.
I mean, it sucks. And like, we had a Zoom with him like 2 days later. And of course he's like, that's not how I wanted to play out. But like nowadays people in the media find out things way before they should, you know, like there's,
Us.
Yeah, there's leaks and stuff. So it sucks how it played out, but like, I understand. And I appreciate everything he did for me and all of us, and the opportunity he gave me and all of us. So it just sucks because, like, yeah, I've only been here for a year and finally starting to, like, build a relationship with him and stuff. But it is what it is. It's kind of how this works.
Yeah, and then at the same time, too, Boise's going through a lot of change in the sports department, if you will. New AD. There's currently that vacancy at the head coaching position for your guys' team. So lots to keep tabs on if you're on the football team right now at Boise State. Let's focus on the good things that happened this year, because there were a lot of good things that happened for Boise State and for you. You finished the season with 7 tackles for loss and 6 sacks after transferring in from a community college.
Yeah.
Now you were at San Diego. That's how I got it mixed up.
That's how you got it mixed up.
You were at San Diego, then JUCO, and now back into the Mountain West with Boise State.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of a not so typical journey to this point, going from D1 and then in some people's minds, you know, taking a step back and then excelling back into D1. Can we talk about that a little bit and your decision-making process through all that?
100%. So kind of out of high school, I guess my recruiting process kind of started later than most, I would say, because I didn't get my first offers till like after my junior season. And San Diego State was my first one, and I had a pretty good relationship with them. And then just throughout the recruiting process, there's no other school that like I was really stoked on, you know, until Washington State offered me pretty late. And then even with that happening, it was super late in the process, and like the visits and the relationships that I had kind of were strongest with San Diego State. And in my mind, it was close to home. Everything was perfect about it, you know?
Yeah.
And then I get there and it just wasn't the right situation for me. I love the school and I love all the people I met and the relationships I've made, but kind of just the way the program wasn't for me, and I didn't fit in right. I put on a lot of weight really quick, which was also definitely a factor. I got there at like 240, and the strength staff kind of wanted me up to like 260 in like a month and a half. And it was just bad weight, and I didn't feel good about it, you know? And then I was there for a while. I wasn't loving it. I was there for a year and a half, and then I was like, I can't do this anymore. So yeah, I actually did a semester down at San Diego State, just not playing ball. I was just going to school.
I saw that.
And basically one of the JUCO coaches around here, who I've known for a long time, I played his son in high school and stuff, kind of hit me up, and I thought about it for a little bit. And then kind of the cherry on top was I was home for Thanksgiving break, and I went to my high school's CIF game, and it was like so nostalgic. And I was like, bro, how am I not playing football right now? Like, I love this game. Like, this is what I need to be doing. And that semester I was just going to school. I was so bored. I was like, this isn't what I need to be doing. And then, yeah, I kind of burned a year of eligibility. But then I went to JUCO that spring, kind of worked out all spring, got an offer from San Jose, New Mexico, before even playing a game. But like, that wasn't really where my goals were. I kind of wanted to play for a bigger, better program. And then played that season. It went pretty well. Still didn't really have any offers I was super stoked about, but Boise had been talking to me kind of the whole season. And I thought I had a really good relationship with Coach Danielson, who's my D-line coach. And basically he calls me up and was like, Shane, like, we need some leadership. We need some older guys. We're losing our 3 starters. Like, you can come in and play. And then I was like, yeah, I'm all in. Basically went on the visit, committed on the visit, signed the next week, and then was there like 2 weeks later, because signing day was in the spring and I was a spring enrollee, and then got it started. And it was just amazing. I've loved every bit of it. And it's really nice being in an organization that you really love and kind of like fit into well, because San Diego State was not it at all. And I was every day was just like, how am I going to get out of bed and do this right now? And now I'm just absolutely loving every bit of it. It's very friggin' hard, don't get me wrong, but something about the grind and just the way the culture is, I absolutely love it.
I think one of the things we don't pay enough attention to when it comes to sports is the psychology of athletes, right?
Yep.
It is so tough, I can imagine, right? But and I know from personal experience as well, like it's tough to go through that grind, because at the same time you're trying to better yourself on the field, you're also trying to be a student. You're also trying to be a good family member. I don't know if you have siblings, but be a good brother, be a good son, etc. Like there's so many things that pile on top of it. And if you don't have the right culture to cultivate being a better football player, it's impossible to do it. And
I mean, one thing that I think kind of for me, my freshman year, I don't think I was like mature enough, to be honest.
Okay.
Just looking at where I am now from then, like I was just focused on all the wrong things. Like I was there, I wanted to be the best football player I could. I wanted to play on Saturdays. I redshirted, and then I was like, oh, this sucks. And when you're going through like the grind that you hate, and you see all your friends just having a great college experience, loving every bit of it, and you're like, damn, I hate my life right now. It freaking takes a toll. And then you think you want something else, and then my mind just wasn't in the right place, you know. And now like my priorities are straight, and I'm doing what I love, and I'm trying to get to the next level with it. So I think maturity is a big part of it. And then mental health is something like crazy. You don't really realize it, but like especially with all the things that have happened in college football the past few years, like with Helinski and Washington State and stuff, like I think there's definitely more of a spotlight on the mental health of athletes, which is amazing, because it should be in the spotlight, and there should be more resources for people who need it.
Especially when you think about, and I didn't mean to cut you off, Cub, but when you think about like the small percentage of college players that make it to the next level, right?
Yeah.
There should be those things put in place where we're reminding ourselves like, hey, these are student athletes. It's something we talk about a lot on this podcast, is people forget about that. And we've talked about college football is a business, and you guys kind of, I feel, sometimes get lost in the shuffle of it all. And we can point out, oh, this kid on Ohio State or that kid on Clemson did this, that, or the third. Like, yeah, but at the same time, they're 20 years old, 21 years old. Like, we have to remember what we're dealing with, who we're dealing with when we're talking about all of this. I think. I don't know. What were you going to say?
Yeah, 100%.
What were you going to say? I was going to say, like, hearing all this, you got to feel fucking amazing after this past season, because you went off. You had a hell of a season. And I enjoyed watching every minute of every game that I got to watch, because you had a good game almost every time I watched.
I appreciate that a lot. I mean, honestly, like, I didn't really realize it, like all the adversity and all the stuff that I've gone through, until like that first game versus Utah State. Like I didn't even play much. I think I got 20 snaps, but just like walking in after like staying in the hotel and like seeing my jersey up on my locker, like I'm not an emotional guy, but like I almost teared up, you know, like I was like, this is happening. Like it's finally here. I'm living out the dream. And like,
yeah, it's
something pretty cool. And I definitely feel really good about it. But like after this season, I still know I have so much more to work on. And like, I want to get to another level, you know?
Most definitely. Definitely. I think it's hard to know you're going through adversity until you're on the other side of it, right? Like in the moment, it just seems like you're trapped in this abysmal hellhole. But when you get past it, you're like, fuck, man, I did it, you know? And that's got to feel awesome. And congratulations to you for getting through that and having such a successful season. Now, I have to ask, because Boise is out in the middle of nowhere, kind of. You know what I mean? the travel times have to be crazy. Like going to play Hawaii in Hawaii has got to be crazy.
Okay, so about Hawaii, I feel for every guy who plays on that team because they have to do it every other week.
Yeah,
That is brutal.
Like, are you
Yeah.
kidding? Like, okay, thank God though. So we had to take a big ass plane for that flight, and all the first string O linemen and D linemen, we were in first class on one of those planes. So it's like full reclining seats and stuff. Oh my, I'm blessed.
that's how you treat your big boys right there.
Oh yeah, blessed.
The thick law.
But 6-hour flight, and then you get there and the time difference is like 4 hours or something. Like, it is awful. I think the end of the Hawaii game was like 1 a.m. Boise time or something like that. And then we have to hop on a 6-hour flight, and then we get back at 8 a.m. in Boise, and then we have practice that afternoon.
Jesus.
They can't get
Also, I chipped my rib in that game, so I had to deal with that the whole flight.
Okay, I've heard of a broken rib. I've heard of a dislodged rib. I've never heard of a chipped rib.
It's basically, there was just like, I fell and there was like a chip in my rib or whatever. I guess like fractured.
Okay, was there like a bone?
It was a baked lay. It was a baked
what?
lay. It was a baked lay.
He's talking about like Lay's chips, but he's talking about a singular Lay chip.
Yeah, exactly. There was a chip in there in my ribs.
A robot. He's a robot, Sauce. He's a robot.
Has to be. So it was only, hold on. So it was only 6 hours.
Yeah, 6-hour flight. Only.
I was thinking like that's got to be at least 10.
No, 6.
Okay, I maybe I overestimated it. I'm sorry.
It's a trip to Western Kentucky, Sauce. It's okay.
Dumb brain. Dumb brain.
I mean, for you guys, it would be like from Chicago. It'd be like 10.
I'm good. Hey, here's the thing. I'm okay.
Yeah. I'm not going to Hawaii. I'm not going to Hawaii. I can't sit on kudos to you for sitting on a plane that long. First of all, I couldn't do that.
My back acts up. I can barely do a 2-hour flight. It's hell.
I get antsy. Like I'm on the plane for a half hour. Are we there yet?
Dude,
have we done the thing?
Speaking of planes, I gotta ask: does it drive you nuts when everyone gets up as soon as the plane lands?
Yes. Are you kidding me? What's the point?
He does that. He does that.
Okay, maybe if you're in like an aisle seat and your back is killing you or something like that, you stand up, whatever. It's cool.
Or if like
I know guys who stand up the whole flight because they like cramp or whatever.
Oh, on the football team?
Yeah.
That's different if you're on like a team flight. Like a commercial flight's a little bit different. When I will stand up is two things. Yes, if I have the aisle seat, for sure. And I always sit aisle seat. If you sit window seat, I think you're a little weird. But aisle seat all the time.
Window seat's the best.
You guys are a little weird.
Look out at the nice scenic view and whatnot. Come on.
Look. I mean, when you take off out of Chicago, as soon as you get out of the city area, it's like, a field. Another baseball field. That's corn.
Shane, this guy doesn't appreciate the stratospheres.
But the other time too is if I don't have the aisle seat, if I'm traveling with people that I know, well, I'm comfortable enough to stand up. That's just me.
It just makes everyone else in the plane feel rushed.
That's the point. That's an excellent point. That's an excellent point. Get the fuck off the plane and let's go stand by the baggage corral for 45 minutes.
You know,
I'd rather stand at the baggage corral than sit on this airplane.
Do you know what's worse? When people clap. This is their job.
God.
This is their job. This is their job. This isn't a movie. This isn't a play. This is their job. They better land this thing. We don't need to clap. They better land this thing. I hate that.
Okay, you think people are weird for sitting next to the window? People who clap are damn weird. I'm not friends with anybody who claps on a freaking plane.
Well, it looks like Shane and I aren't friends. No.
Okay.
The window seat is the most entertaining seat. Actually, I might be on your side with this because you could people watch.
Okay. The thing with the aisle seat is number one, leg room, right? I can kick that leg out in the aisle. If I see the flight attendant coming by, I can kick that leg back in real quick. First steps, crazy fast, right? But it's extra leg room. I can kick back a little bit, right? And I can have a relationship with the flight attendants as well because I'm right there You know, maybe they bring me an
Come
extra
on.
bag of. No, that's it. We're talking about the relationship with the in-air host is a difference between 2 bags of pretzels or 1 bag of pretzels. You see what I'm saying? It's the difference between them coming back and seeing if you're okay.
Have you flown with this COVID stuff? All you get is a baggie filled with all the goodies.
I've not flown with this COVID stuff. No,
I've
it gives me the EBGBs.
I've flown. They're like, keep your mask on unless you're
Exactly.
eating.
Yeah,
Dude,
no, I'm cool.
How about you give us no food? I'm cool with that.
That's just me. Okay, back to football. Why isn't holding called more, especially for edge rushers? Because it seems like every game I'm watching, whether it's college, whether it's professional, hell, whether it's the high school football team down the road, it seems like every game I'm watching a D lineman getting that also familiar chokehold. There it is.
Yeah.
That one right there.
Yeah.
And it's never called. It's almost never called.
I mean, I wish I could tell you, and I wish you would say this to the Mountain West refs, because this year was one of the worst ever I've gotten held.
Really?
Yes, 100%. It's so annoying. It doesn't make any sense to me. Like, it pisses me off thinking about it.
There's a silver lining to that, though, in that maybe you're just getting so much better that tackles just can't hold you, cuz.
You're J.J. Watt, my guy.
I mean,
held every play.
It definitely makes me maybe a little better, but it's just damn annoying. Come on.
Of course.
Like, imagine if I could have gotten 3 extra sacks. That would have made me really happy. But you know what? I'm sad.
Voice. But instead, all we did was average 1 per game. We could have averaged 1.2 per game.
Exactly.
Averages.
That's what I needed.
Stats.
Yeah, I mean, we're Chicago Bear fans, and we get to watch Khalil Mack rush the passer every week. And that's something I see all the time. I'm like, I know it's not going to get called, but it's just aggravating that it's not. I can only imagine being the guy who gets it done to him professionally.
So,
I mean,
sorry.
I feel like throughout a game, you kind of build a relationship with the guys you're going against. Like, it's
okay.
Weird. Like, basically in the first few drives, like how the game's going to go. And like, this year, my first start was versus Brady Christensen, who's a first-team All-American on BYU. And I just knew, like, we weren't going to talk. I was going to get bullied, and it was going to be a tough night for me. And then, like, we play Hawaii, and these Samoan guys are just chill as fuck, just, like, making jokes the whole time and, like, making weird-ass noises. And then it's Wyoming, and it's quiet the whole time. It's actually weird. Like, you don't realize it, but, like, I'm like talking to like the O-line the whole time, whether it's like smack or whether it's like, oh, you're cool, like where are you from and stuff.
Okay. I like this. Because we always like to have conversations about like the smack talk that happens on the line, because there has to be a ton of it.
Oh, there is, especially like in like a really aggressive, violent game, like versus like Air Force and the triple option or something. Or like, obviously games that matter more, I think there's a little more. Like San Jose, like there was a lot of shit talk in that game. I mean, it really depends, but like that kind of sets the tone for the game. It usually happens pretty early, and then like especially in a game where like you're getting held all game, like you and that guy are not gonna have a good relationship, you know?
Yeah, we're not friends, bud.
Yeah, no shot. So
what's the weirdest thing said to you?
Let me think. Oh, okay. San Jose's quarterback, I was like, so we have like 2 different calls. Like I'm either going to have the dive or I'm going to have the quarterback and surf off and spill on him. And there were a few where I like had to kind of fake the dive, but like have to be there for the quarterback if he keeps it. And I was like talking to the San Jose quarterback. I was like, hey, keep it. Like, can't you just keep it once? And then he starts talking back and he's like, well, what if we played one-on-one basketball? Who would win then? And I'm like, bro, what? We're playing football right now. Like, why is that?
The tennis team would win. The tennis team.
What?
The tennis team would win. Just say something stupid or bad. More stupid.
I was just like, bro, what? And then just kept doing my thing. But
that's when you know he sucks, because he threw out another sport.
Yeah, right? I was like, come on.
I feel like we grade players, in baseball, right? You have like a 5-tool player if they can do all of the things. I feel like in football, one of the tools you have to grade is smack talk, and if you don't have it,
don't talk.
Just be a silent guy. Did you say you guys got to play BYU this year?
Yeah, they did.
Okay, we've heard some stories. At least I have. From other people who have played BYU, and they say that it's kind of weird because a lot of those guys are like 35,
Yeah, bro.
have kids, are actively trying to get you to convert to Mormonism in game.
I mean, I've never heard that, but I mean, yeah, you're going against a freaking group of grown men, which is unfair. And I've heard it's even weirder playing there because the whole stands, they're all sober, they're all virgins. It's just hella weird energy.
It smells weird,
Yeah.
They don't cuss. They don't even cuss. They don't cuss.
They don't. But I've actually heard that they're not a good group of Mormons, if that makes any sense.
Oh,
I mean, I don't know
because they soak.
But we have a few Mormons on our team who just hate BYU.
Because they soak and they don't. That's why they're jealous. They're just jealous of them just sitting in there doing the damn thing.
Come on.
That's awesome.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
What does Mr. Magoo not approve of?
What are you talking about?
What do you mean? What am I talking about? Mr. Magoo.
Mr. Magoo. Okay. Mr. Magoo. You want to know how this started? This is literally like a week thing. I don't know why Jess would tell you something like that. But I met my nephew for the first time and he looks like Mr. Magoo. I'll show you right now. I didn't even know who Mr. Magoo was until this week. Come on.
And a quick shout out to Jess Lazo, his girlfriend, who is one of my close friends.
Hold on, you got to do the influencer.
Oh no, yeah.
Okay, got him.
Mr. Magoo. I don't know what cartoon he is. I have no idea. My freaking brother-in-law said it, and I put it in a post on my food account, and that's what Jess told you.
You have a food account?
Yeah, Bonds Bites.
Bonds Bites. I stole this. Have you ever made an account on Instagram just because you wanted the name, and then you never post anything on it?
Nope.
Okay, well, I wanted this.
It's the podcast
username,
actually.
or
it's the podcast.
Yeah, that's the one. We made the podcast page, and that's the one we really wanted.
Anywho, I've had this account for a year, and I haven't posted anything on it, and that was my first post, and it said Mr. Magoo approves. Thank you, Colby, for bringing that up.
I'm just trying to make this fun.
It was either that or we bring up. Was it Rod Stewart?
Rod Stewart.
How could you not like Rod Stewart?
No, I just figured what would be funnier. I didn't know the context, and I just wanted you to tell me what it was.
Rod Stewart is a legend. You don't know who Rod Stewart is?
No, I'm saying Mr. Magoo is more of a funny thing to bring up than Rod Stewart. Because Mr. Magoo is an angry old man. Getting on my case, man. I was just trying to make it a fun podcast.
Okay, let's try to make it a little bit more lighthearted. Football is known for really specific sayings, right? Like iron sharpens iron. That's footballism, I would say. What is your favorite football saying, footballism?
Oh God. I literally don't know. There's
football guys.
And so many coaches use the same ones that are just all cliche. I don't know. One of our things is iron sharpens iron, of course, like every other school. I don't really know. I couldn't even tell you. I mean, I like the blue collar thing where we're like blue collar,
you got called blue collar in an interview with one of one of the interviews with your coaches. They called you blue collar. I'm like that.
Yes, yeah, I love that.
That's when they know you like you.
Yeah.
Hardest worker in the room.
That's us.
That's what you always want to be, baby. I don't know. I can't give you a straight up answer on that one.
Well, here's an answer you can give us. You're a Cali guy.
Yes.
What are some stereotypes that really just irk you?
Okay, so everybody thinks I'm a surfer.
You're more specifically, you're a South California guy, right?
SoCal, yeah.
SoCal, come on.
SoCal, sorry.
Get the lingo.
I'm sorry. I'm I'm a South Chicago guy. What does that make me? Or South of Chicago guy.
A fake guinea.
There you go.
I don't know. I've just gotten like this called a surfer so many times. I do surf, but like kind of bugs me.
But it was true.
Okay, but like I'm not like the guy throwing up shakas 24/7 in my rainbows and board shorts, you know.
Well, I think it's the same thing of like I have gone bowling, but I'm not a bowler.
Yeah.
Kind of similar. You've gone surfing, but you're not a surfer.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't really like surfed like religiously like I used to since like 8th grade.
Did you have a puka shell necklace?
Never in my life.
I'm proud of you.
Yeah,
I'm so proud of you.
Come on.
Well, why is everyone so chill over there? Like so relaxed?
In California?
Yeah.
They're
I've never
not.
met someone like me over there.
Bro, they're not. California is so, I didn't realize it till I went to Boise. Like everybody in Boise is so nice and like sparking conversations. California, never. Everybody's so rude all the time. Random people would never spark a conversation.
Well, I think the kind of the stereotype, right? And this is only a stereotype of the Southern California person is life moves kind of slow. Don't get up until 10. I'm trying to think of all the things I can say without being overtly rude.
You got to take the 405 to the 10 to get to the 101.
Traffic. I don't know. I don't. You know what I mean? But like the kind of the stereotypical person is maybe a little bit of narcissism thrown in there too, where you know the world kind of revolves around them. But that's not necessarily the case.
I don't think so. I mean, there's definitely like, I feel like that's kind of just more like the beachy people. I guess like the beachy vibe is like laid back, stays into bed until 10 or whatever. I mean, I'm not around much of that. I don't know. It's kind of annoying.
He's a blue collar guy. He gets his hard hat and pail ready at 5 a.m. and he's out the door.
100%, baby. No, I could like never sleep in though in my entire life. I wish I could.
I used to be able to, but then I reached a certain point where I was like, hey, there's shit going on out there. I gotta go do something.
Good morning, moon.
Good morning, moon. Yeah, it's one of my favorite sayings.
Let's go. I like that.
Get up there and greet the moon. All right, last thing, and then I'm all out of bullets. One of my favorite things that I like to watch on YouTube is a series from GQ called The Breakdown, where they'll have people who are like, I was just watching one recently. It was a boxer reviewing boxing movies and reviewing the validity of them, right? Like, is this an actual scenario that might play out or not? I'm curious, in terms of realism in football movies, what's the best and what's the absolute worst that you've seen?
Okay. This show isn't necessarily like awful, but like the football aspect of it is the worst I've ever seen. Have you heard of All American, the new show? I think it's on the CW or something.
Okay.
It's a pretty good show. But like the football part and like all the football clips are the worst things that I've ever seen.
Is that the one with the guys like throwing the football and he's like,
I think I know the clip you're talking about, but that is not it. But that's one of the worst things I've ever seen too. Friday Night Lights, the show, is one of the best movies or shows I've ever seen.
Okay.
All-time fave right there.
Where does Blue Mountain State rank?
Considering football, the show is legendary, so I'll give it like a 10. Thad Castle's a goat.
Thad Castle is a goat. I would have to agree.
Mojitos do be hitting. I got one last question, and then we can wrap this thing up.
Yeah.
So I don't know what to do with my hair, which is why I shave it all the way down like it is.
Okay.
And going through your Instagram, you've had like a hair transformation every other year. What do you think I should do with this thing?
Bro, grow it out.
You know Sauce, tell me how thick that thing gets.
It's about thick as me.
When it gets long, I call it a blooming onion because it just.
Bro, have you ever had long hair?
Like how you got it?
Like how when I had the bun and stuff.
No, the longest I've had it was the Bieber cut. That
okay,
was 10 years
I
ago.
had that too in 7th grade, and that was not it. But yeah, I was flipping my hair 24/7. Bro, I'm telling you, you should grow it out and put it in a bun. Because when else are you ever gonna do it in your lifetime?
Never.
He does have a point.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Like,
that's my thing. I cut my hair a while back and I'm growing it back out because once I'm done with college and into the professional world, I'm not gonna have long hair.
right.
I like the fade.
You'll have plenty of time to do the fade when you're somebody's dad, Cub.
100%. Go for it,
So
baby.
why not? We could even make it a podcast thing where we do a weekly check-in on the current situation of the man bun that you're creating. You could make it a blog
I hated asking this question now since you told me that.
with special. You could even do special features with Shane.
It does look good with the fade, though. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah.
I feel like it gets kind of thummy every once in a while. He does get a little thummy, but if it works for you, it works for you.
It
You ever
does
do a
look pretty
beard?
good right now.
You ever do a beard or a stash or anything like that? Spice
I
it up?
just shaved yesterday. Yeah, I usually do have a beard.
You ever done just a stash?
It's so funny that you said that. So last night when I shaved, I trimmed it all down and I just left the stash until like I went to bed just to be funny with myself.
Yeah.
And I was snapping someone and I totally forgot it was there. And I was like, oh my God, who's that? I looked like a pedophile.
You weren't like, damn, that is the most handsome thing I've ever seen.
No, because I was looking like this. So I looked like even more like a thumb.
Damn.
Looked like a thumb with a caterpillar on
I
it.
feel like you could pull it off.
A stash?
Yeah.
I'll do one episode with a stash.
Okay, I gotta see that.
I'll do one episode with a stash.
All right, that is a promise that we will keep. Let's go ahead.
One more
And-
thing. I think
one
we
more
should give Jess a shout out for hooking this up.
100%. Jess, I love you. Thank you so much for letting me meet this fine man with this fine podcast. I absolutely love it and loved being a part of it.
Well,
Let's go.
we loved having you on, Shane. Thanks so much for stopping by, giving us your time. We have this really awful habit of at the end of podcasts saying thank you too much. So I'm going to do it now for the both of us and just say thank you. We will be rooting for you moving forward. Congratulations on the awesome season and good luck moving forward, brother.
Thank you so much. Thank you guys for having me. Honestly, it's been pretty cool to do the first podcast. I hope to do more, maybe another one with you guys one day. And
Was your first time special? Was it a good time?
I should have lit a candle. Oh, I totally forgot to light a candle for his first time.
Hey, was it special?
Fuck.
Did we do a good job?
Oh, this has been magical. I will never forget this day, baby. Come on.
Is
All
it
right.
special now?
This is the best day of my life. Are you kidding me? Best day of 2021 for sure. So far.
That's a win. That's a dub.
Yep.
All right,
All right,
let's
we
get
out.
out of here. Thanks again for coming on. See you guys.
All I got is missed calls on my line, yeah. Never seen a pick up right on time, yeah. If I don't call back.